You felt it before you could explain it. Something shifted, not in the world around you, in you and the people who used to know exactly how to reach you, exactly how to move you, exactly how to pull you back into line. Suddenly they couldn't. You didn't announce anything. You didn't make a speech. You didn't send a long message explaining your pain. You just stopped. You stopped explaining. You stopped chasing. You stopped begging to be understood by people who were never truly trying to understand you in the first place. And they felt it. That is the part I need you to sit with tonight. They felt it before you said a single word. Your silence became different. Your eyes became different. Your energy became harder to move, harder to guilt, harder to manipulate, and something in them grew uneasy. You are not imagining the tension. You are not being dramatic. You are not too sensitive. The discomfort you feel around certain people right now is real, and there is a reason for it. Some people became nervous the moment you stopped responding the old way. They were comfortable when you doubted yourself. They were comfortable when you questioned your own memory, your own feelings, your own worth. Your confusion kept the relationship balanced in their favor. And now that you can see, that balance is gone. So understand this clearly. Their fear is not because you became cruel. Their fear is because you became clear. Welcome to Chosen Aura, where the misunderstood, the awakened, and the spiritually chosen are reminded of who they truly are. If you have ever felt set apart, betrayed by people you trusted, isolated in a season you did not ask for, and yet still pulled toward something greater, then you are exactly where you are meant to be tonight. This message is not random. It found you on purpose. And if this already feels like confirmation, if your spirit is already leaning in, subscribe to Chosen Aura before you go any further. Because what I am about to share with you is not motivation. This is confirmation, and you deserve to hear all of it. So let me tell you why everything feels different now. This message is going to explain what has been happening to you, why certain people changed toward you the moment you woke up, why your circle got smaller instead of bigger when you started healing, why your peace still feels unfamiliar, almost uncomfortable, like a coat you are still learning to wear, and why the truth you now see is not a punishment. It is part of your divine separation. You are going to understand why betrayal was the very thing that opened your eyes. You are going to see why people who once had unlimited access to you are now uneasy in your presence. You are going to realize that the pain you carried was not wasted, not one moment of it. You are going to understand why your spirit suddenly stopped trusting certain voices, even voices you had known for years. And you are going to see that your awakening was never random. It was protection. By the end of this message, you will understand why they fought so hard to keep you confused. So stay with me. Every part of this matters. Let me start with the moment something inside you began to change. The truth did not arrive all at once. It almost never does. It did not come as a single dramatic event with music and lightning. It came quietly. It came through repetition, the same disrespect wearing a different face, the same betrayal dressed in a new excuse, the same hollow apologies that changed nothing, the same people hurting you and then somehow making you feel like you were the problem for noticing. And then one day, you started connecting the moments. Moments that once seemed separate, unrelated, accidental. You began to see the thread running through all of them. You noticed who only appeared when they needed something from you. You noticed who dismissed your pain, but still demanded your loyalty. You noticed who loved you when you were small, when you were unsure, when you were easy to lead, and who grew cold the moment you set a boundary. You noticed who celebrated your weakness and feared your strength. And the most powerful thing you did was this. You stopped calling those patterns accidents, because here is what they never understood about you. The day you stopped making excuses for what your spirit already knew, that was the day their control began to quietly collapse. But to truly understand why they fear you now, you have to understand what they needed from you before. Some people were only able to benefit from your kindness because you did not yet understand their intentions. That is the hard truth. They did not need your weakness. They needed your blindness. They needed your innocence. They needed your endless forgiveness. They needed that beautiful habit you had of seeing the best in people who kept showing you their worst. They were never truly afraid of your anger. Anger they could handle. Anger they could spin, twist, and use against you. What they were afraid of was your awareness, because your confusion gave them access. Your self-doubt made you easier to influence. Your loyalty, that deep, unshakable loyalty you were so proud of, kept you tied to people who had already betrayed you in spirit long before they betrayed you in action. They used your heart against you, not because your heart was foolish, but because they knew you cared deeply. And they knew you would always choose connection over conflict. They counted on that. But when a chosen one finally sees the intention behind the action, not just the action, but the intention, everything changes. And it cannot be undone, which brings me to the thing that hurt you the most, the betrayal. I need you to hear this carefully because this is where everything changed. What broke your heart is also what opened your eyes. The betrayal was painful. I am not going to pretend it wasn't. It cut into a place you did not know could be cut. But that same betrayal revealed what comfort had been hiding from you for years. Sometimes the mask does not fall on its own. Sometimes it has to be pulled off. And sometimes in your life, the only reason a relationship showed you its real foundation is because something allowed the pressure to come. You were not betrayed because you were weak. Let that lie die tonight. You were betrayed because the truth had to be exposed, and comfort would never have exposed it. The pain forced you to stop ignoring the warnings your spirit had been sending you for a long time. It forced you to stop explaining away the things you already felt. Some relationships in your life had to reveal their true nature because your destiny simply cannot survive surrounded by people who secretly oppose your growth. So, when you grieve what you lost, remember this. You did not lose people. You lost illusions. You lost a version of the story that was never fully true. The betrayal hurt you, but the revelation saved you. And here is something you may not have realized yet. Long before the betrayal gave you proof, your spirit already knew. Your spirit knew before your mind was ready to accept it. You felt heaviness around certain people, and you could not explain why. You felt drained after certain conversations, even ones that seemed pleasant on the surface. You felt a quiet, persistent warning in your chest, and your heart kept talking you out of it. That was your discernment speaking. That was the part of you that does not lie, trying to reach the part of you that wanted peace. You sensed the hidden jealousy behind the compliments. You sensed the false concern wrapped around the questions. You sensed the manipulation underneath the kindness. You kept feeling tired around people who claimed to love you, and you kept telling yourself you were just stressed, just tired, just overthinking. But you were not overthinking. You were perceiving. You ignored the inner warning because you wanted peace so badly, and I understand that. But now you know something that will protect you for the rest of your life. Peace without truth is not peace. It is only delay. So if your awakening feels heavy right now, this is why. Your spirit is finally catching up with everything it quietly survived, and that is not a breakdown. That is a reckoning. Now let me tell you the part that scares them the most. They are not terrified of you because you became loud. They are not afraid of your volume. They are terrified because you are no longer available for manipulation. You no longer explain your boundaries like they are crimes you need forgiveness for. You no longer need their approval to trust what you already know to be true. You stopped reacting emotionally to tactics that used to work on you every single time. You stopped defending yourself to people who were committed, fully committed, to misunderstanding you. You stopped handing out unlimited access to people with hidden motives. You stopped shrinking yourself just to keep everyone around you comfortable. And here is what they didn't know. Your calmness now exposes them far more than your anger ever could. When you were reactive, they could point at your reaction and call you the problem. But now you are quiet. Now you are clear. Now you simply observe and decide and move, and there is nothing for them to grab onto. When you became quiet and clear, they lost the version of you they knew how to control. That version is gone, and no amount of pressure is going to bring it back. But I do not want you to think the truth came to harden you. It didn't. The truth did not come to destroy you. It came to deliver you. At first, yes, it felt like destruction. The truth felt painful because it showed you everything you had been tolerating. It showed you the years. It showed you the patterns. It showed you how much of yourself you had given to keep things that were quietly costing you your life. But the truth was never sent to crush you. It was sent to free you. It came to remove false loyalty from your shoulders. It came to lift off false guilt. It came to take away false responsibility. Responsibility for other people's choices, other people's comfort, other people's growth that they refuse to do themselves. You are not responsible for maintaining connections that were slowly destroying you. You are not wrong for finally seeing people clearly. You are not cold because you stopped granting access to people who only ever used the access to hurt you. Truth feels painful when you have been living surrounded by lies for too long. That is all that pain was. It was your eyes adjusting to light after a long time in the dark. The truth did not make you bitter, it made you awake. And once truth enters your life, it does not ask permission from the people who benefited from your blindness. It does not negotiate, it simply stays. And that leads me to something you misunderstood for a long time. Your isolation, the season where you felt completely alone. I need you to hear this. That was not abandonment, that was separation. And those are two very different things. You were being removed from voices that weakened you, removed from environments that drained you faster than you could refill, removed from people who, with all the love in the world, simply could not go where you are being called. The isolation gave you something you had not had in years. It gave you space to hear yourself again. The distance revealed who genuinely valued you and who had only ever used you. The silence That silence you feared helped you recover a spiritual strength you did not even know had been depleted. You were not being punished. You were being protected. Your assignment, your purpose, the thing you were created for, it was being guarded. And sometimes guarding the assignment means clearing the room. Some people had to be removed before your next level could even begin. There was no version of your rise that included them, and as painful as that is, it is also mercy. You thought you were being left behind, but the truth is you were being hidden. Hidden for preparation. Hidden the way valuable things are always hidden before they are revealed. So now the question becomes, what do you do with all of this? Now that you see the truth, you cannot go back to pretending. That door is closed, and you closed it for a reason. You cannot return to the old version of yourself just to make other people comfortable again. That person served their season, and that season is over. Your awareness is now a responsibility. Your healing is not just a feeling. It is a command to rise. So do not apologize for your clarity. Do not say sorry for finally seeing. Do not reopen doors that were closed for your protection. And you will be tempted to, in lonely moments you will be tempted to. Do not explain your transformation to people who clearly preferred your pain. They are not owed the explanation, and they would not accept it anyway. Move with calm strength, not revenge. Revenge keeps you tied to them. Calm strength sets you free of them. Let your peace be the proof. Let your peace be the evidence that you not only survived, you awakened. The truth did not come into your life to make you afraid, it came to make you free. So let me speak to you directly now as this message comes to us close. You are not crazy, you are not bitter, you are not too sensitive, and you are not imagining the shift. Everything you have been feeling is real. You are awakening. And awakening is rarely comfortable, but it is always sacred. Release the guilt for seeing people clearly. Seeing clearly is not a sin, it is a gift, and it was given to you for a reason. You are allowed to put down the relationships you were never meant to carry. You are allowed to set down the expectations that were placed on you without your permission. You are allowed to release the emotional burdens that were never yours to begin with. The people who fear your clarity are not your assignment. Let me say that again because your spirit needs it. The people who fear your clarity are not your assignment. Your next chapter does not require their approval. It requires your strength, your silence, your discernment, and your courage. That is the toolkit for where you are going. So before you leave this message, do something for your own spirit. If this confirmed something you have been feeling but could not put into words, like this video, it tells the algorithm to carry this message to the next person who is sitting in the dark, waiting for confirmation. Leave a comment with the words, "I was chosen for more." Say it so your own eyes can see you say it. Subscribe to Chosen Aura so you never have to walk through these revelations alone. And share this with someone you know, someone who has been quietly asking why everything around them suddenly feels so different. They may need this exact message tonight. This is Chosen Aura, where the chosen remember their power. You were not broken, you were being prepared, you were not forgotten, you were being hidden, and now the same life that tried to bury you is about to witness you rise.